speed ahead.
These, the three awardees, Tulum represented, the special invited troop had of the two, formerly to the incumbent, recognize His Excellency of the loss. All right, so. Philip, records the former Deputy Governor Hassan. I think when things like this happen, establish the bona fides of intentions. All right, so please let's give him a behalf we are supposed to, and he turned that man who was a moment ago supposed to, and he turned that man who was a moment ago the confirmed except, but when of the forum except, but when of the forum those staff when you get back when they then try to reach him, my pleasure. Those staff when you get back when they then try to reach him. My pleasure as a chairman when you get back, when they then try to reach him. My pleasure as a chairman also of this distinguished with a much
more particularly the chairman of this forum, Your Excellencies and former Deputy Governors, Your Excellencies and former Deputy Governors, but actually it would wait for tomorrow for this event. But actually it would wait for tomorrow for this event. The event has started. Let me I'm also very has started. Let me I'm also very that he had opened. Also very that he had opened the. I thank you that he had opened the. I thank you, our forum had to be part of the fourth. I thank you, our forum had to be part of the fourth and critical element. Our forum had to be part of the fourth and critical elements in nation. And critical elements in nation. Development and this events in nation. Development and this year's conference. Development and this year's conference growth and self-reliance. This year's conference growth and self-reliance implementation. The former growth and self-reliance implementation. The former and most implementation. The former there is any use as this opportunity. There is any use as this opportunity. And patriotic. I am to say that the imperative of productive economy was never lost on the various governments of Nigeria today, in the concern of true industrialization, to failed attempts on industrialization. And indeed, to encourage and facilitate stars and activities became punisher in Anambra State. Say that the collapse of this job creation, because we are at certain surface issues, there are more. We are putting block on critical foundational issues. We must also look at productivity through in 66 and national aspiration. As I was having recklessness, which action accepted by all can build a nation. Meant to national aspiration is occasioned by a national vision and aspiration that as in the nearest future. We'll find out that cross-border and everybody will commit. We have to achieve economy on the part of people. Then will be in the overall. In fact, it turns the other round symbol. I got products made goods on the other hand. Situation where we cannot patronize locally made goods. How do you encourage investors to plunge into locally made goods? Nigeria industrial effort, liberalization, resulting in our structure could not compete. And I encourage organization agreement had to hold back his economy. He signed into and it flooded into the country. Keja collapsed because, and I remember one day asking what you were doing before because he had closed. He said, look, to sell at what is our economic environment abroad, saying that in local production, we do just is to acknowledge that we need to accept the fact that it is a record time without which and our nation and worked for it without which and our nation and worked for it to support the efforts of and economic growth.
Former president rings with purpose, steady, and that's the time to nation. Representing President of the Hands Together. So, forms together, please. Trick, equal to, we put our hands together. Thank you. Very special person of the university. I could, from being the vision advocate, Professor Tang.
Is that from Your Excellency the Baba Gana Zulum? Your Excellency the Baba Gana Zulum, on behalf of receiving an award of him, thank you. Receiving an award of him, thank you. Distinguished stand behind, go straight to sharing as I'm probably just here to privilege and women continues to really for inviting me to science. The role science. The role of, I believe also this subject is time beyond the rhetorics. Prosperity. So this subject is time beyond the rhetorics. Prosperity is not just an economic matter. So the economic matter. So the dignity of the cause is at full effort. In other words, And of course, available in Nigeria, and resources. The task before the value chain of it, but the value chain of it, but also about having resources and well-being and aspects, and also an opportunity. See them abound from agricultural and technological productive capacity. Number one, the human all apprenticeship and to both the. Number two is the physical, the road, what we have seen for optimization. The University of Jos is not a world-class center of artificial in this dynamic society. Machinery, productive capacity. It's a function of public productive capacity will be. This is more visibility and review of productive capacity. It must and 5 impact on the productive. The rise in price is a common administrator like his stagnated producing capacity, economic and well, in this case, or ban on certain items is the point. Productivity. A country fosters productivity. A country fosters allowing locality productivity. A country fosters allowing locality into international at a more lower adequate and modern into international at a more lower adequate and modern technology driven by technology nation. Relevant technology-based term effect on the nation. Relevant technology-based term effect on the nationals. Every crop is national volume. Get the best of the tips. Every crop is national volume. Get the best of the tips. In students, take at that. In students, take at that. We saw the national cybersecurity at both public concern. National cybersecurity at both public concern. Government should not stick to should lead the crusade and social should lead the crusade and socio-economic transfer. National growth of goods and services produced. National growth of goods and services produced. It involves the international collaborations. As it translates, let's now look at some of the steps because we are talking about national growth. Some of the steps for national growth. We are talking about national growth. Some of the steps for national growth. National growth through productive capacity. Within our costs. Increase our within our costs. Increase our capacity and international consumption. Boost our economy. And of course, consumption. Boost our economy. And of course, adjust the country's and strategic action and working the country's and strategic action and working with me that the present government is the master key. With me that the present government is the master key advancement our drive. I've taken security research and development as a key that will include better national agenda to take us through. Recently 4.23% fastest rate. We experienced a slow project probably because of the capital flow and present oil sectors. Self-reliance does not mean expertise. Very, very important refined expertise. Very, very important refined. We educate and instead and self-thinking. What we need is full personnel and institute the professional. Need is full personnel and institute the professional, deliberate national self-nation and institute the professional, deliberate national self-nation. Deliberate national self-nation. That will bring to fore sufficiency for us as a nation, for both political affairs of the country, creating a spelled by economic developments, We compromise in whatever governance to not compromise its internally be recognized, be properly equipped. The military should continue with the emphasis on cross-border any negative development and claim credit for things that are working well. A leader with adequate knowledge of the capacity of our trajectory, of what their leaders good policy and implementation fragment another. Citizens in all sectors specializations for good hands, but the country as a whole. Good hands, but the country as a whole. This means professional submissions, not holding to tradition, interact with organizations and countries with similar productive interests for collaboration, and protection of and promote productive, not holding to friendly and productive. Not holding to friendly and promised actors must be protected. Institutions and support agencies to unlock productive capacity and political cycles. Number 3, with integrity. As a shortage of blueprints in a climate where bear in mind ideas and policy has remained fragile, decay, limited. Therefore, have a key 5 essential ways to source raw materials needed and minimize search for alternative. Migration of workers areas actually steady and increase that they can. Number 3, give feedback in the products. For certain against products must be. We must more than 80%. Particularly in agro exports, polytechnics, and to bridge the gap. It shows that our raw materials jobs. Leadership's vision remains the issue of innovation. The 21st century that are not innovation. Using it means in governance. It means Nigeria must development to reward credit tax, targeted grants, and Nigerians' greatest and global but not being supported. The missing link, policy scarcity, but we need effective policy discipline and productive capacity. I thought that rely on Nigerian priorities, solid minerals, and of education. Rely on Nigerian priorities, solid minerals, and of education to reduce production and protection. To reduce production and protection, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Sure, accountability will not only expand our products. I've just reliant future, a journey of promise. Nigerian create them with courage and them, but from progress. Create them with courage and them, but from progress. If we align, but also secure a fees I have briefly laid. I said earlier before I started, Nigeria. Vision. University. All the former deputies. University. All the former deputies. Great Anamdo Onje, a professor employed, who was a prophet. The Union Good Governance Chairman. And they hosting all Nigeria 16th, the University of Jos. May God bless.
Chancellor of the
May God bless.
Chancellor of the University of. We have started diversifying with an award that I think Ffdgn, 5 decades experience. His mission, Ffdgn, 5 decades experience. His mission, Goroye, 5 decades experience. His mission, we do have, please advocating leadership, integrity, one of Nigeria's, much quickly, identity politics. Please let's put a hand in light of Nigeria's, much quickly, identity politics. Please let's put a hand in light in academia, identity politics. Please let's put a hand in light in academia. Goroye, who is of night in academia. Goroye, who is of Nigeria's most of his main ministry. Goroye, who is of Nigeria's most of his main ministry. Ambassador designate he represents strengthening bilateral ties. Professor, entrepreneur. Yeah, let's put our hands together. Slating knowledge. Dr. Alpha Yayak A. Sees Dr. Alpha Yayak in institutions. Before I hand over the microphone to who's here with us, please can we put a hand? Before I hand over the microphone to who's here with us, please can we put a hand on Zamfara State? He's also here on Zamfara State. He's also here. So this thing.
Your Excellencies, Your Excellencies, gentlemen, keep you 40, 45 minutes. We don't allow gentlemen. Keep you 40, 45 minutes. We don't allow your food to keep you 40, 45 minutes. We don't allow your food to get cold. Allow your food to get cold. A deep dive on get cold. A deep dive on $1. A deep dive on $1 economy by the 8-point agenda. Economy by the 8-point agenda. AG 8-point agenda. AG 8-point agenda. One can. We are beginning to. One can. We are beginning to. We also 2-3% GDP growth rate. 2-3% GDP growth rate. We've seen. Now, as I said, we've seen. Now, as I said, how do we think that that the United Nations that the United Nations it would be that's talking capital, to which would be that's talking capital, to which the speaker capital. Of course, human energy cannot be over the situation of things. Of course, human energy cannot be over the situation of things. Transport infrastructure, ICT, 8 components of, I'm only ICT, 8 components of, I'm only Professor so have Publicity of Poland in Abuja and last but few questions for you here. Strong gaps. And institutional
on student doing so when stands for what it communicates. Doing so when stands for what it communicates the publication sources. Talking of universal basic, and because government youth then primary school, so which government policies to know of, you would have the Ministry of Information, of Training and Equipment. We know what months are doing. 4 years of strength. The Cocoa House in Ibadan, government like Canam, that's wanted. Encouraged by government is going to be promoting the citizens to produce their drops in it. So these are the things there. I spent over 20 years to analyze, and yesterday, the renewal, so and communication.
Prof, thank you for your opening comments. I will still come back to you. You talked about a committee that was set up, inaugurated yesterday. And earlier on, the Vice Chancellor is you led Nigeria's fundamental leadership and institutional policy implementation.
Gentlemen, in governance, the only the speed they activate is that at this leadership possibly activate is that at this leadership possible is the public from the political lead to is the public from the political lead to comes in electoral manifestos. Those manifestos, after being transformed to electoral manifestos, those manifestos after being transformed to petrol tank, or is it one that say how do I petrol tank, or is it one that say how do I petrol tank, or is it one that say how do I who are going to drive. But oftentimes, in terms of trying who are going to drive. But oftentimes, in terms of trying to see. But oftentimes, in terms of trying to see, able to recognize that the system already has those who can assist. They tend and those reform initiatives and by the integrity statement. Thank you.
Unclear.
What you can call have become bloated, and that they will not be able to meet the services of and the other ones. Be sacking people. We have to do data of the top from academics who I could do it. Were older, that has in time, they will have left to come leadership of but when that was one. IPPIS integral a lot adego that was one. IPPIS integral a lot adego case somewhere adegoroye. You see an A adegoroye somewhere. If who is he put his where is now it turned out names to be able to get so that the money that you save
Lord him.
To be able to get so that the money that you save
Lord him. And of strengthening our IPPIS and so on, and which is also why grade invest higher. I have tropical grade invest higher. I have tropical agriculture. So much in nice. We can't overemphasize the culture as he will attest. You disaggregate that, you find that they ask you documentations or systems. Since we are talking from 92% of the agri sector.
For the money here, we used to call him the support. I remember him in those days. Nigeria I had was 60. The land, that every 20 years you have 400 million. We're going to expand crop farmer, but there will be no money. You cannot import. And so all the money we are earning. So we at IITA, we cannot import. And so all the money we are earning. So we at IITA, National Research Institutes, and the way you hear that that was ravaging national research institutes, and the way you hear that that was ravaging virus problem. So they gave us virus problem. So they gave us money add on the jobs problem. So they gave us money add on the job. We're having money add on the We have increased productivity in Nigeria equal to support of. We have increased productivity in Nigeria equal to support of technology lack of water drought. Technology lack of water drought. The Syria coming south. They are bringing yam. The Syria coming south. They are bringing yam, pineapple, It is that are fixed and population bring good money in Nigeria. I believe you are for Mali, Ghana. I go youth roads in Nigeria. I believe you are for Mali, Ghana. I go youth roads to Raba. For example, you have built your fertilizer industry. You are in Dorama, you are Dangote factory. You are for Kaduna companies with these governors, former Dangote factory. You are for Kaduna companies with these governors, former governor, for the farmers to. But if you saw fertilizer and seed.
Yeah, Doctor, about it. How effectively adopted by farmers. By the way, let me start by congratulating. It's indeed our pleasure to have you. You have a unique blend of on how leadership
acknowledge. In 1990 was like such. In 1990 was like such assistant but today GDP assistant but today GDP per capita. Poland is the 5th language is about, and I'm glad that I was part of my district twice as a city council. I believe was a reform that happened about Serovich. Reforms is not promoting whether you work or you don't. It's education. High school to be one of the, if not, even though we may not school areas, especially in the science and technology, innovation to national. Unfortunately, that I think we need to political science, strategy when it comes to the direction that the nation is, and there are who are to come back to Nigeria. Now, I want to say authoritatively and categorically, and in America.
Than in Europe and America. So let's hear from the ambassador to productivity in Nigeria for closing thoughts.
Thank you. Not only standing on, I'm experienced senator from Poland, the summary, the landmark 80s as a leader of solidarity. By the idea economy are implemented at work. All these where we had them for. All justice, somehow, all these well-meant policies, they only added up on paper. So rightly, leader, and here is the majority of politics, not very popular of President Tinubu as everybody, but they create clarity to how, honestly, how can you percent this stable investment? How to safeguard growth, productivity. I would just do almost 4 decades, all but the name, because I would say that was created in a way that what internet has invested, invited, of exposing.
Just a couple of minutes.
Because I have agreeing with 90%.
Just a couple of minutes.
Because I have agreeing with 90% of being to market entrepreneurs to grow beyond the national market. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
National market. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so Ambassador told us earlier the tax reforms, the recent, and also told us earlier the tax reforms, the recent, and to also promote. So the recent, and to also promote. So closing thoughts for what, Dr. Alpha. 1 minute.
I'm talking for the. We provide the want this test. I see people importing. Want this test. I see people importing in Nigeria. Test. I see people importing in Nigeria.
What is it? Nigeria fair. Yeah.
To give teachers in Nigeria.
What is it? Nigeria fair. Yeah.
To give the.
Okay. You're okay. You're closing.
Of leadership. It should be recognized leadership. It should be recognized first, what we call synergy. It should be recognized first, what we call synergy, and this and the first, what we call synergy, and this and the
Yeah, okay.
and this and the
Yeah, okay. On a collaboration with the universities.
and in
Yeah, okay. On a collaboration with the universities for internal security, that one. And lastly, information in media should we definitely in media should we definitely
An enormous brains. If I was to give, I would say if I was to give, I would say I develop them, because the good solutions, when they will thrive and they will.
Thank you, sir. Professor John.
Thank you very much. I think Nigeria than in Europe. I came back to Nigeria to everywhere you look.
Ffdgn, thank every one of you for listening and setting the tone, this opportunity. Thank you.
Photograph. Well, all right. The chair again will have to. We know work to do. Rising now for about beginning, so that when we reach and discuss, so that when we reach and discussants goes on day one here.
Different tongues making Naija fruitful. Different tongues where we making Naija fruitful. Nigeria's future we are making sound. Boosting product governors, action all around. United we have to. United we have to.
use intelligence to solve. What is also build some AI, some AI.
Building Nigeria brighter tomorrow. Building Nigeria brighter tomorrow. Making Nigeria. Building Nigeria brighter. Nigeria growth. Nigeria growth. Oh, oh. Building Nigeria brighter. Building Nigeria brighter.
Thank you, former Deputy Governor. Ladies, as I indicated, the theme for our next policy today is national of master.
It's great enlightening. Doctor has been there. Is very. I'll be cooperative for challenge of country largely by the non-oil sectors, especially continued costs. Who find the tri policy that identify priority in time in our instruction lessons, see Nigerians now 876 and weaken these all in report continues to enable of vulnerabilities have in our northern Nigeria amplify youth segment Next is on such a local to Nigeria are fools and I refine whatever on poorly imported predictional code Nigeria and for that pill 7%. In a way, Israelis are often blamed the fault of winning from speculation. It becomes discussion about the need to tap into the opportunity was bringing into the country. And because they aren't sure if this method, they would rather take their money. I mean, these are mindset that has not helped the industry that right now. Let me just the financial services and the financial program just to social services and the financial program just to support the bigger one, why the small ones are left, unattended. And I would like to close by on digital infrastructure. We have a whole lot of infrastructure. We have a whole lot of the e-payment service, electronic invoicing, and a whole lot of other digital infrastructure to come into the manufacturing space. In conclusion, Nigeria has demonstrated reform and they have stimulated non-oil sectors such as service bank and tech and agriculture. However, non-oil sectors such as service bank and tech and agriculture. However, this remains fragile, like I said earlier on. Manufacturing sector has been in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Manufacturing sector has been in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Mastery of this of Ffdgn has heard.
Justice and gentlemen, our station, our latest Professor the platform, Magaji, to the platform, Magaji, to the walking the list, Professor stepped out, walking the list, Professor stepped out, 30 minutes.
This conference just to deepen and suck in, talk about questions, go home. All about they renew. I want to thank on infrastructure. We quote, and he said that infrastructure. We quote, and he said that infrastructure. How do you?
Madam, for a few years ago, to try to is 30. What platforms I set up? What was I called enable youth? How do you enable the young people? Mention education, you have employment. As I was in Tunisia, the extent that they said, so the question of hands is to try to, because I has to be able to create something as huge faith. As you know, we have funds which reduce taxes will be inclusive.
African providing this. What is the
more than education, and this are benefit up to the income interfically to build up, able to account.
That's another question for me.
Able to account.
That's another question for me, because I've been wondering. That's another question for me, because I've been wondering. What's the opportunity of
the principle a lot sector? So the difference where from that we are not is we are instrument.
Industry, Nigeria. But it's can you help?
Senate President, 5th Senate. Senate President, 5th Senate. Your Excellency, you on Malio, apply in our own institution. The abuses get poverty trying annably, and you can 60, the cost of that's why 100 typical goods, inferior. The time it's our people and people you go in made from Greek manufacturing.
There are comments or questions so that we can wrap up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We can wrap up.
Thank you very much. Thank you. MC, you know it's not easy to sit with big men. You can trust someone here.
Chairman of the local And from the analysis in Nigeria, dictionary, am I right? Even 20s in Nigeria, am I right? Even 20s in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Need to vet. And there is the 10% side. For example, I don't see there is the 10% side. For example, I don't see any reason why at this stage we cannot take over all civil engineering. It's something that sit and the state.
One day, yes, distribution from the government, because
Can the government?
because
Can the government? 7 pounds loan and 27. It developed very productive indirect return on right. Productive indirect return on right. 20 running. You know.
Right.
So much.
Okay.
So much.
Okay. The panel is done. Very quickly. Thereafter.
Chairman, close. But last session is dominated by access to finance. No matter, it doesn't go to where it bank is from. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? And if the boss is more cost, Chairman.
And of course, the final days.